Back here on the 757 at 6, I am Matt Hatfield with you on this Wednesday night, the 6th of February. Glad you are with us here on ESPN Radio 94.1. We got a special guest on the line. His team will be in action at 7 o'clock on Thursday night on ESPNU in the 757 as his squad visits the Hampton Pirates, who are 10-11 overall, 5-3 in the Big South. And this is a team you got to watch out for, folks. Come tournament time, they could be dangerous. We're talking about the Radford University Highlanders, 16-7 overall, 8-1 in the Big South, and Coach Mike Jones so kind to join us. Coach, how you been?
I've been great, man. How about you, Matt?
I'm hanging in there. We've gotten through a little bit of the cold and flu bug season, and warmer weather appears to be on the horizon as we've got some 70-degree temperatures on your way as you come down, huh?
Yeah, man. We really appreciate you making that weather happen like that for us.
Well, we have some ways we sometimes get it to happen. But let's talk about your squad. A great year you guys are having yet again there at Radford, and some locals contributing, as we touched on back in late November with Donald Hicks out of Oscar Smith High in Chesapeake, Travis Fields from Norcom High in Portsmouth leading your squad in steals. Those two young men combining for over 18 points a game. Also Clavon Green out of Williamsburg Christian. What's it mean for those guys to be playing back home in the 757 for a college game?
Well, I know they're excited for the opportunity to play in front of their family and friends. Not all of them, I'm sure, can get to Radford for games, especially like during the week. So for this opportunity for them to get home and just have, their loved ones right there in attendance, I know it's fun for them. I know they're excited about it.
Yeah, it should be a fun one and a televised game. Always great for programs like yours and theirs to get this kind of exposure on a national front, too. You did win in the 757 earlier this year, a game at William & Mary, 81-72. That ball game, a really good one, as you had your junior, Nathan Knight, actually the junior, for William & Mary had a career night, 32 points, but you really were able to bottle him up at the end of that ball game. What's it mean, though? This is a league game now. Hampton going from the MEAC to the Big South. What's it mean from a recruiting ramification standpoint in your eyes, as you and them are battling for some of the same kids, right?
Yeah, I'm sure that it's going to be, there are going to be kids that will both go after. I know we've done it in the past, but, they have a really good program. Their coach has been there for a number of years and has had success in the MEAC. And now he's looking at, doing the same thing in the Big South. And, they've got very talented players, man, some of which are from the 757, and so do we. We love recruiting that area. So many good players, so many good coaches and teams in that area that, we love to, get down there and get some of that talent out of there. But now it's going to be a little tougher with Hampton right there with the opportunity for them to go home.
Sure. We touched on it briefly back when we had you on the show last time because it was fresh, those wins you had, or the one of them, Notre Dame you had, and then you turn out and beat Texas, a Big 12 program with your former boss and Shaka Smart when you were together with him at VCU. But now looking back at it as you're in conference play, what did those wins, beating Notre Dame and Texas, what did it do kind of for the brand of Radford University from a national perspective?
Yeah, that's a good question. They feel so long ago that, they really don't weigh on my mind at all right now, maybe on our guys' mind. But I think the positive part of that is just, you can play with really talented players and teams, and, you can go in there and compete against anybody, whether it's at home or on the road. And, that certainly helps from a confidence standpoint in the league. When you go on the road, it's going to be a hostile environment tomorrow, against these guys. And so, we've got to really, maintain the poise that we had like down the stretch against, Texas and Notre Dame in order to pull those games out. So it's just a confidence thing more than anything.
We're chatting with Mike Jones. He's the head men's basketball coach at Radford University. Our guest here on the 757 at 6 on ESPN Radio 94.1 as they get set for their 7 o'clock tip-off matchup Thursday night at Hampton University against the Pirates. You can watch it on ESPN. You can also go over to the HU Convocation Center and check it out. And, Coach, as you guys are pursuing that regular season league title and trying to go dancing yet again come March, you had the 8-game winning streak and then the Campbell game. I hate to bring up bad subjects, but it's a game people have talked about, 68-67, a tough loss. And we know about the same guy doing it again, the really talented Chris Clemens, 39 points that night, and literally beat you in pretty much the same exact way as a year ago. How did you all handle the aftermath of that defeat and what he did?
Well, we tell our guys all the time that adversity is a part of life. Everything isn't always smooth sailing. We certainly were riding a nice win streak, but we were getting into really the meat part of our schedule with, some of the more talented teams, in the back half of our schedule. So, we played very well. We were up 15 at one point in that game, and then we just didn't finish the right way. So it was an opportunity for us to learn that, hey, you got to finish a game against a really good opponent by making your free throws, by not turning the ball over, and by being a little more solid down the stretch. So, we try to use that adversity as a teaching moment, and hopefully we'll be better the next time out, and we were.
Well, and you could have a really big game with them into the season at Campbell, March the 2nd, and right now you're in first in the Big South at 8-1. They're at 6-2, right on your heels, but obviously Hampton the focus right here. And I want you to I'm curious, and I imagine some of the fans and listeners out there are too, what the daily itinerary or routine, if you will, is like at a college program such as yours, the days leading up to a game. So take us through sort of the step-by-step process, such as this week leading up to the Hampton game, and is the prep any different, a home game compared to a road game in your eyes?
Yeah, it's the routine is, we try to be consistent with it so that, guys get used to it. And so, there are no real surprises, whether it's home or away. Obviously, when you're away, there's a chance to just focus completely with your team. There's no other, distractions like, the school and people in the dorms and things like that. We get a chance to get away in a hotel and just be, with the team, which is really good on the road. But, the routine overall is the same. We practice on Monday. Not having to play until Thursday means on Monday we can really focus on us. And then Tuesday we can start to turn a little bit of our attention toward our opponent. And then Wednesday, the day before a game, is usually when we, really prepare for the other team. So, we've been able to do that a lot of the time this year because most of our games have been Thursday, Saturday. And then obviously on a Saturday game, it's a quicker turnaround. We only 1 day prep. But yeah, we've had a few days to kind of get better at the things that we work on every day for our team to be really good, defensive fundamentals and offensive execution. And last couple of days, we focused a little bit on Hampton, who's a dynamite team with some dynamic scores that we're going to have to be really locked in and focused in order to stop.
Yeah, and I want to get to the Pirates here in a second with you, but to follow up on that, with the film dissection for your players, your coaching staff, yourself, when you have that Thursday, Saturday, like you do this week with Hampton, High Point, how much is it almost a two-for where you kind of have to break down two the same time, knowing that 1 day wiggle room's not a lot of time to get ready for that next opponent to follow?
Yeah, I think maybe some coaches do that, but I never do that. There's no one more important than our next opponent. So regardless of how big the game is on Saturday, it doesn't mean a lot, as we head into the game on Thursday. So we focus 100% of our attention on Hampton, and we'll worry about the next opponent after the Hampton game. And one thing about these guys these days is, they'd rather just play games. They'd rather not practice sometimes. So they're a lot easier to deal with when there's less practice time going into the Saturday game. So, and it's really, at the end of the day, as long as they're in a good frame of mind and they're, feeling good about themselves, what we do as coaches matters a lot less.
A few more minutes here with Mike Jones, the head men's basketball coach of the Radford Highlanders, our guest on the 757 at 6 on ESPN Radio 94.1. Radford program we could be talking about come March NCAA tournament time, and they have a big one coming up on Thursday night at Hampton University, a 7 o'clock tip on ESPNU. And Hampton, we threw this in the direction of Coach Robert Jones, who I know you know quite well at Norfolk State, when they played host to them. Jermaine Merrill, lethal score for Hampton out of the 7-5-7, much like you faced in the Kid Clemens. Do you try to go in containing him, force the others to beat you, or is it a case of, all right, he's going to get his, let's keep the others at bay? What sort of parts of the strategy, if you can divulge?
Yeah, well, I think there's different ways to skin a cat. I think, there's certainly some people who believe that, you can really try to shut him down and make someone else beat you. But, they have other talented guys. And so it's a little harder proposition to do that against a team like Hampton. With Campbell, we did a great job on everyone other than Clemens. And, unfortunately, it wasn't good enough. Going into this game, we'll do some different things to try to keep, Merrill from going off on us. We'll make him work hard. That's basically our philosophy is, make him work hard for everything he gets and try to contest every shot. But, as you know, man, the best defense, has to wait to see what the best offense is going to do. And so offense has an advantage. And we've got to try to flip that a little bit, and we have to be the aggressor a little bit and try to force him to do some things that we want to do, at least where we want it to happen. But at the end of the day, we've got to make him score against our whole team.
Mm-hmm. And stylistically, with them joining the Big South this year from the MEAC, are they more similar to some of the teams you see, like the Campbells, the Winthrops, the High Points, or are they more different from your eyes in watching them?
Yeah, I think they're different from anybody else. We've got a bunch of unique styles and coaching styles and teams in the league. And so, they're certainly a team that comes in that doesn't really play like anybody else. They're their own unique brand, and we'll learn it for the first time and get another opportunity later on in the year to play against them.
I'll get you out on this one. I appreciate your time as always. You've got a couple of sons, for those that don't know, playing basketball at a high level. Nate, a senior at Bucknell. They're in first place in the Patriot League. Miles at Radford High School, a senior who will be headed to Radford University. Unbeaten season for them, one of just two high school programs in the whole state of Virginia, along with Potomac Falls, as they have a chance to go to a state championship. How much time do you get a chance to see them play during the season while you're in your grind?
Yeah, with my son at Bucknell, it's a little harder. I try to see 3 in person a year. I've been to one. Get the chance to go to another one here in a couple of weeks, God willing, and then maybe one in the playoffs or the tournament. So get to see him a lot less. Miles in high school, he's only 5 minutes from our campus, so I get a chance to get over and see him a lot more frequently. I saw him last night, and I'll see him again on Friday. Again, God willing. So, yeah, definitely try to get to see them as much as I can with Nate at Bucknell. I get to see them because they're on TV some, and I get to watch them on Synergy. So, it's I try to support them as much as I can. They're doing great, and I'm really proud of them.
Well, I'll tell you what, folks, if he keeps winning like this and going dancing come March, I got a feeling the Highlanders are going to have to pay him some big bucks to stay. That's Coach Mike Jones of Radford University, our guest tonight on the 757 at 6. They'll be taking on the Hampton Pirates at the HU Convocation Center on Thursday night. Make it out there if you can, or check it out on ESPNU. Coach, always a pleasure. Best of luck, and we'll talk again soon, all right?
All right, man. Thank you very much for having me.
You bet. That is Coach Mike Jones of Radford. You are our guest here on the 757 at 6, only on ESPN Radio 94.1.